Hey guys, so we have the information on the next ZENKAI coming to Legends, and it is Super Saiyan 2 CAULIFLA, the purple one. So let's see what they say about her on Twitter, and we'll go ahead and take a look at what she currently does to see if we can sort of predict and see what she will do once her ZENKAI actually goes live tomorrow. So CAULIFLA changes Blast Arts into Strike Arts with her Special Arts card, and her main ability also lets her draw a Strike Arts next. Plus she deals extra damage against tagged Saiyan enemies she's ready to fight. Sounds pretty plain. We don't really know much about her other than what's written here, but they don't really give us much to work with there, unless that's literally all she does, which I doubt. So, Super Saiyan 2 CAULIFLA. This was a unit that people were actually speculating was going to get a ZENKAI Awakening a long time ago, because females, this is before Android 18 got her ZENKAI, females was one of the teams that didn't have a ZENKAI for a long time. It was like them, and I think LOE didn't have one at the time either, but it was a long time ago. And people were like, oh, females could get one soon. people were speculating CAULIFLA would get one, but it's been a while since then, so this is, something that was going to come at some point. I personally would have liked for the Kale to get one over CAULIFLA, just because I feel like that's what the girls team needs. It needs a big beefy tank unit that can discard enemies' cards and uncover change, more so than this CAULIFLA right here, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at what she does right now. Fairly old unit, so her kit is pretty bare bones, as we can see, just like one sentence per unique ability here. So her main ability is Dependable Sis, restores own ki by 50, 40% of strike damage inflicted for 15 counts, and then cancels own HP downgrades. This is actually not the worst thing ever. It's not good. It's not good, but it's not like absolutely terrible. In terms of what they should give her on this, I mean, they already told us that she draws a strike card next on her main ability, so restores ki by 50. I don't think that's going to go up, maybe 60 if they want to bump it up at all. 40% of strike damage for 15 counts. I mean, 15 is a little bit short, maybe bump it up to like 25 to 30 counts, and then draws a strike card next, and that's honestly, that's fine. 40% strike damage for 30 counts, ki by 60, draws a strike card next. That's a solid main ability. Maybe bump up to 50% strike damage. So 50% strike damage for 30 counts, draws a strike card next, and maybe gets like some card draw speed or something like that in there, unless they don't want to give her card draw speed for whatever reason, but I could see something like that being her main ability, being buffed like that. So her first unique ability is Anti-Sane Strike Attack. They actually do talk about that already in here. She does extra damage against tagged Saiyan enemies. So she gets 40% of strike damage inflicted against tagged Saiyans. I don't like when they do specific damage against specific tags, because it's just too niche. Obviously, Saiyan is a pretty big tag, and strike damage is what she wants to be doing, because if we take a look at her stats here, she's much more strike-based than blast-based. So it's not the worst thing, but I would just want them to get rid of this word. So 40% of damage inflicted against tagged Saiyans. 40% is honestly good. I don't know if I would want them to increase that, just because with her ZENKAI stats that she's going to be getting from here, plus the main ability, plus the other unique that she has, this is already a decent amount of damage. And the stats are going to multiply, well, not multiply, but this is going to multiply on top of the stat boost that she gets. So I think 40% is okay, but they're obviously going to add other stuff to this unique ability. Let's go back to that in a second. Don't Run Away is her second unique ability. While this character's on the battlefield, the following effects occur when enemy switches characters. Restores ki by 30, and then 15% of strike damage inflicted per tagged girl's battle member for 10 timer count. So the first thing to note about this is that clearly she's on a bunch of tags. She's actually a character you can use on a bunch of different teams, right? Universe 6 is a team that's not really great, but you can use her on there. Saiyans, obviously she's a Saiyan. You could use her on the Saiyan team. You could use her on the Rival Universe team, which is a team that when she released didn't exist yet. So that's more usability that she has now that team is a pretty decent force in the meta right now. I feel like with the new hit coming out, that team is pretty damn good. So, I mean, first thing I wanted them to switch with this unique is, instead of having one enemy switches characters, just put one facing an enemy. So if you do one facing an enemy, the only difference that makes is that this will activate when she switches in as well. So she will get the ki, she will get this buff as well when she switches in. So it won't be just dependent upon your enemy switching out. And I feel like that's going to be pretty good for her, because not only she's going to be able to get ki on switch in, but she's also going to be able to draw a strike card guarantee with her main ability. Now, it's not the same as Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who does both of those things with his unique, but I think that's still pretty decent. By the way, this is per girl battle member, so this is 45% extra strike damage, assuming you have a full girls team. So let's just add this up right now. So 45% of strike damage inflicted per girls battle member. Then we have 40% to Saiyans. That's 85. Then we have 40% from our main ability. That's already 125% to strike damage. Notice how it's all specifically strike damage. The one big thing they could do to change this unit and make her way better is just to remove the strike only buff that she's getting. I mean, she's not going to be doing a crazy amount of blast damage just because the stat differential is so big, but it would be nice if she has, let's say you switch into this unit and she just happens to have like three blasts in her hand and 1 strike card. Those blast cards are essentially dead weight with the way she's set up right now because they're just doing 0 damage. But in addition to what she has here, I mean, the biggest thing is she's got to have some kind of cover cut or some kind of like damage reduction in her kit, because in this day and age you can't not have that unless you're a character that's able to restore your vanishing gauge in some way, like Kid Buu, or you have like the unique gauge like UI Goku, or Hit is able to restore vanishing gauge with his blue card. Characters like that are able to be exempt from having damage reduction just because of the fact that they can, you know, have defensive utility in other ways. But this CAULIFLA, even with her Zenkai stats, like there's so many oppressive yellow units in this meta right now, like Demon King Pickle, like 18, that without, or even like Future Gohan, because Future Gohan has a lot of, LF Future Gohan has a lot of matches right now, but a lot of people are running Future. You're running a character like this, and yeah, she's going to do pretty good damage. I'm just going to tell you right now, with her Zenkai, she's going to be doing good damage, even if they change nothing here. She's going to be getting one-shot by like everything without any kind of damage reduction in her kit. So I actually don't really want them to focus on damage for this unit. I would much rather have them focus on some kind of defensive utility. Maybe she seals cards or something. Maybe she heals whenever she uses a strike card. Stuff like that I think would be really good for this unit. Or even just give her 40% damage reduction, just straight up. It's pretty boring to do that, but I mean, it would solve a lot of the issues with this unit that this unit has. Her blue card is Crush Cannon, deals major explode damage, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade at plus 20% strike damage received for 15 counts on hit. Clearly, we would want them to change that to on activation, not on hit. And then, I mean, I kind of don't want them to change just to massive, because we saw what happened when Blue Trunks got that change. But I mean, if they want to buff this up a lot, that's what they would do. And then the green card is I Can Feel the Tingle. 20% of strike damage for 20 counts. This is a terrible green card. this is like A1 garbage level. So again, if they want to implement some kind of healing into this, or maybe she gets damage reduction through her green card and you could stack that and it lasts for like 10, 15 counts, something like that. Or maybe she has like the Majin Buu green card effect where she takes less damage when she gets hit for the next time. Or anything like that. I think some kind of defensive utility would benefit her a lot more than just more damage on these green card effects and her unique abilities. But she also buffs Girls or Universe 6. I think when they were in the process of designing like CAULIFLA and Kale together, because they came out together, I think they were actually they had in mind the vision that Universe 6 would eventually become a team that would be decent to run. They sort of eventually molded that into the rival Universe team, so Universe 6 is not really like a viable team to run anymore. So unfortunately, she's sort of stuck with this dead buff on her Z ability. But I mean, you can actually run the Universe 6 team, I guess. Take a look at the team right now. Again, Vados is a pretty decent option, so is Champa. So I mean, you have these two units. You have Kefla now, who we didn't have back then. You have the purple Hit now. So the team is not terrible, right? But you're at some point you're going to be relegated to running like Red Kale, who's just awful, or this Red Hit. It's just not good. The setup for this team is just, they've sort of been left in the dust. So instead of the Universe 6 team, obviously her main team is going to be Girls, just because of the this part of her unique ability. And if you take a look at the actual Girls team, I think purple for this team is a pretty decent color to be buffing here. So it was either going to be purple. I'm just taking a look here. What color do they actually need? I think purple was honestly the best color that they could buff here, because green, they have these two units. 21 good is pretty decent still. I mean, more than pretty decent. She's actually very good. For red, they have Launch and Trunks and Mai now. I think Launch is, honestly, she's pretty underrated. I would say she's very good. For purple, they only really had Android 21, and Android 21 was a very powerful unit that occupied this purple slot for a very long time. So she's still decent. I mean, it's not like, you can't use her anymore, but I fully expect this CAULIFLA to be better than this Android 21. Otherwise, I would consider her to be pretty mediocre. And then yellow, let me just see here. Maybe, obviously 18, right? Besides 18, they don't really have any other good yellows, but I mean, you don't really need another yellow unit besides 18. And then blue, obviously you have the Zenkai 21 on this team. But honestly, blue would have been a nice color to buff for this team, because besides blue 21, who else is really here? blue 18. You can't run her. Can't run this Bulma. I mean, I guess you can run these characters, but they're not going to perform super well. Blue Ribrianne is a unit that I'm terrified of getting a Zenkai at some point, but thank God she doesn't have one yet. So blue 21 really is only the only blue female unit that honestly is good on this team. So yeah, I think the decision to Zenkai this Caulifla now is actually not that bad, because purple is a pretty good color for this team to push them further up the meta. Then we have Rival Universe team. Again, this team has sort of seen a revival with this purple hit thrown into the fray. It's always been an okay team. I mean, Jiren, the Pride Troopers, Topo, and Dispo are a pretty solid, I guess, core of the team. Vados helps the team tremendously. Champa is there to back up the team. And now with CAULIFLA, I mean, here's the thing with this team, right? I'm going to tell you right now, CAULIFLA is not going to be better than Hit. If CAULIFLA is better than Hit, there's probably an issue with that. I will at least have an issue with that. Hit is very, very good. I don't think he's like in the top tier of the game or anything like that, but I don't expect this CAULIFLA to be up there either. So Hit is very good. CAULIFLA is probably not going to be better than Hit, but the interesting thing about CAULIFLA getting this buff now is Hit actually buffs purple and red. So I was actually trying to create a team of purple, red for Rival Universe, and I was having a pretty tough time because there's no like decent purple units here besides Hit. I mean, yeah, there's Lavender if you want to run Lavender. You can run Dispo or Bergamo as your red option. I think Bergamo is a pretty solid red option for a PPR setup with this tag as like the core, but there's really no good other purples besides this Hit. So if CAULIFLA ends up being a pretty decent option for that setup, you can easily do a purple red setup with CAULIFLA, Hit, and Bergamo. I think that would be pretty cool. And then Saiyans, is no way. She's not gonna be better than UI Goku, no way. She's not gonna be better than Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 Goku. There's just no chance. So unless you just don't have one of these, I mean, it's completely feasible you don't have UI Goku. But if you don't have the Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I believe his banner just came back. Let me make sure that's still up. Yeah, it's right here. So it's still live. It's 9 days left, so it's until next week. There is stark competition on this tag. I mean, even Purple Vegeta, I would probably see him being better than this CAULIFLA at the end of the day. Maybe, we'll see. But she doesn't buff this tag. She doesn't get buffs from this tag. So yeah, probably not good for Saiyan. So I would say Rival Universe is probably going to be where you can throw a niche option for CAULIFLA, but it's going to be girls mainly, obviously. So let me know down below what you guys think about this CAULIFLA getting a Zenkai Awakening. We'll be doing my breakdown tomorrow, showcase, all that good stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next one.